Okay, everyone, I'm going to try to work through a few of these problems on video so that you can see how we solve them in class. So the first one, this is quiz2, the first sample, and I'm just going to type it over here so you can see how I'm working it through. So the question is, you have a half-liter solution of 2 millimolar glucose. And the question is, how many carbon atoms do we have? Okay. So the way you want to approach all of these problems is, if you're looking at this question here, the first thing that comes up is what does this big M mean? And we said in class that M is molar concentration, which is number of moles of whatever you're talking about per liter. And if you're trying to calculate it, what you would do is take the number of moles you have and divide it by the number of liters you have. Okay, so that's how you calculate molar concentration. Now the question is here, you know what the concentration is, and you're asked to find how many carbons are in solution. Okay, so the first thing is we know that we're talking about glucose, not carbon. So let's start with that. So we have a half-liter solution of 2 millimolar glucose. So 2 millimolar means that we have 2 millimoles of glucose per every liter. Okay, so 2 millimoles. And the way that I think about this is I say that 2 milli is a number. Okay, so hold that there. So you say that we have 2 millimoles for every liter. Okay, now we have a half liter. So if you have 2 millimoles for every liter, that means in a half liter, you have half of that. So we have 1 millimole of glucose. Right? So we have 1 millimole of glucose, and now the question is, how do we get to number of carbon atoms? So the first thing you have to do is figure out how do we get from moles into number of things, and we said that what we do is just a mole is just Avogadro's number. So we have 1 milli, keep that milli in there, times Avogadro's number, which is 6 times 10 to the 23rd glucose molecules. Okay, so that gets us to number of glucose molecules. We'll just solve this. And now the final question is, how many carbons do you have for every glucose? So we know that glucose is, if you look back at the question, the formula for glucose was C6H12O6. So that means for every molecule of glucose, you have 6 carbons. So then we go back here and we say, okay, this is the number of glucose molecules. For every one of those, we have 6. So we have to multiply this by 6. 1 milli. Now remember, I want to keep that milli in here until the very end. Some people like to write it out, but I like to keep it in there. Now let's solve this. Okay, so now we have 6 times, and 1 milli was 10 to the minus 3 times 6 times 10 to the 23rd. Now just continuing here to try to get it in one of these answers, we know that 6 times 6 is 36. So that is 36 times, and now we know that 10 to the minus 3 times 10 to the 23rd is 10 to the 20th. And there's our answer. So 36 times 10 to the 20th would be answer D.